Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Swatch Show. This is a very special episode because this is our very first bonus fall collection, which is so exciting. So this is a new fall drop of those perfect cozy autumn shades that you want right now. This collection is called Nail Night because we were just loving the idea of a cozy mani night with your besties as the temps start to dip. Maybe you're making something cozy and cinnamony, all with a great manicure, of course. So we have 7 new shades to discuss today. If you've never seen the Swatch Show, we show you the new colors in bottles. We show them to you on swatch sticks, and then we show them to you on their most closely related color cousin. So let's start with the new shades. We first have on the Promenade, which is a shimmery mulberry purple. We have Boysenberry Glass, which is a sheer berry milky pinky red. We have Real Toasty, which is a warm toasted beige color. We have Après Mani, which is a cool teal. Extra Marshmallows, which is a sheer lavender gray. We have Let's Stay In, which is a deep kind of maroony brown color. And last but certainly not least, free with every Mani system purchase is Cinnamon Sugar, which is it literally looks like cinnamon sugar. It's a kind of warm caramel glitter. Okay, so those are the new shades. Let's get into the comparisons. I am very excited about these. Let's bring in our sheets here. And we got great feedback on the most recent episode of the Swatch Show, so we've trimmed down the number of swatch comparisons so that you can see them a little bit better. So with Let's Stay In, this is a deep maroon brown kind of color. It's very much like Obsessed and CN got together, or I also think it's a little bit like Bunny, which is a quick dry polish that we just came out with. It's almost like an uber dark version of Bunny. So what I've pulled for you are just these moody sort of brown with a touch of red kind of fall shades for you, so you can see. And then a couple more like true browns. And then some kind of wild card deep reds. And it's interesting that we start with Let's Stay In because, like I said, it's sort of a mix of CN and like an Obsessed, for example. And I am wearing CN gel on my nails so you can see. Anyways, okay, so let's get into the closer comparisons for Let's Stay In. It is definitely not a true brown the way that CN is a true brown. It has a lot of that kind of purpley, maroony red warmth to it. It's also not nearly quite as dark as SD, which really to me reads as, almost black. Also have Covet here. Sable, which is way more milky, chocolatey. But I really think that Let's Stay In is like a deeper version of Bunny. Let's see if we can get our camera to cooperate. There we go. So you can see it's not quite as brown as CN at the top, not quite as vampy as SD and Covet, way darker than Sable, but here's Bunny. And to me, they're very, very closely related. There is a little bit of white in this formula that gives it like a little bit of dustiness where it's not quite as like purely pigmented brown or maroon as CN, but we have a feeling this is going to be one of your favorite shades. Pulling in dark chocolate. Patron of the Arts starts to look like a true just purple over here. But I love that Obsessed kind of picks up a little bit of the red in that formula. And then Team Spirit looks like LD. So there is Let's Stay In, just the perfect vampy dark fall shade. Okay, moving right along. Next we have Boysenberry Glass. We named it Boysenberry Glass because we were thinking of what are these fall sort of fruit flavors. It feels quite boysenberry pie for fall. So what I pulled is some of our kind of milky jelly sort of sheer colors. There is really nothing like Boysenberry Glass in my opinion. It's a quite warm jelly, which I think is kind of rare for us. A lot of our jelly shades are on the cool tone side. I think the closest warm jelly we have is Peepto, which is that sheer peach, quick dry. We also have Can I Borrow a Sweater, which is a sheer mauve. And then I also wanted to bring in Lovely. I do think that Roar and Lovely from the most recent quick dry collection have a little bit of that warmth that Boysenberry Glass has, but of course, Boysenberry Glass is sheer and Lovely and Roar are not. So I'm not gonna bring up Saltwater Taffy, but Papaya Gloss, which is a sheer kind of corally peachy pink Peepto. I got a lot of LD vibes from Boysenberry Glass as well. Pebbles seems to agree based on her approval bark. But we think you're gonna love layering with Boysenberry Glass. The shade is also really buildable on its own. So if you don't like to see your visible nail white, for example, you could absolutely build up Boysenberry Glass a lot too. But coming into focus here, you can really see it lives in this kind of like rosy berry sort of shade range. It's not as like purple and certainly not as pink, but Peepto really is the only other kind of true warm jelly that we have. It's a cool color. I think this is a very cool color. I think it would look really pretty layered over Roar too. That'd be really nice. And it's a more milky, not quite as translucent as say like a CCT or a BEB. There's some sheers that we have that are more pigmented than others. So there is Boysenberry Glass, which makes me want Boysenberry Jam right now. Okay, next we have On the Promenade. On the Promenade started as an understanding that Plaza is one of y'all's favorite colors of all time. We also know you love To Me You Are Perfect. We're basically obsessed with a deep shade in the wintertime that also has some shimmer to it because the winter light is so pretty, especially like in candlelight, everything just glows. So we love the juxtaposition of like a deep moody shade with kind of a warm golden micro shimmer to it. So I pulled a few of these for us. The closest comparison to the base color for On the Promenade is definitely Plaza, which is a deep kind of mulberry purple color. It's not quite as cool toned as Plum. It's also very similar to a Who Likes Raisins. So I will bring up, I also wanted to bring in Saucy. I'm bringing in a lot of the previous quick dry collections because I think they have a lot of similar elements. And On the Promenade is a play, because we were like Plaza, we like to play little Easter egg games with these colors. So another word for a plaza is a promenade. So it's a little Olive and June insider moment for you. Okay, so as you can see, it's really nothing like Saucy. It's also really nothing like Goal Getter. It's also way more purple than To Me You Are Perfect, although it has very similar shimmer to Me You Are Perfect. It is much, much warmer than Plum, so we're gonna pull Plum out of there. But yes, it's in this Raisin Plaza universe. That is on the Promenade. Next we have Cinnamon Sugar. Cinnamon Sugar, this is not edible, of course, please don't eat it, but this is like, I don't know if any of y'all had a mix of cinnamon and sugar on your counter growing up, but cinnamon sugar toast was a main part of my diet, as well it still is, let's be honest. But it just has this like sugary, crunchy sweetness, if that sounds crazy. But we don't really have a shade like this, so I pulled all of our gold glitters and then some of our kind of like bronzy colors, but it is super unique. Penny always felt so warm and coppery to me, and then when I see Cinnamon Sugar, it's just so much more golden. Okay, so what I brought in is Milk Chocolate, which is a golden brown shimmer. I brought in Obvi, which is our first glitter ever. It's kind of a gold glitter. Party Pants, which is a packed rose gold shimmer. OJSM, which is a rose gold metallic. Penny, which is a quick dry. And then for fun, I also brought in Coconut Shimmer Gloss and Sundance Shimmer. But I would put Cinnamon Sugar much more in the kind of true glitter category, even though it does not have a gritty finish the way that some of our glitters do if you don't put top coat on it. But I'll bring in these to show you. This color is going to be bomb to layer with. I also think it'd be so pretty as a really, really subtle French tip, like a micro cinnamon sugar French tip would be super nice. It also has a really kind of like crushed metallic effect because the glitter is super duper fine. So it has like this like gilded nail jewelry kind of vibe to it, which I think would be really pretty as like a subtle little accent, like a little dot on like a vampy mani like this. And again, you can only get it in the Mani system, so not to be missed. I think in this light, Party Pants looks quite silver in this light, but it is very much a rose gold, a packed rose gold color. That is Cinnamon Sugar. Okay, next we have Extra Marshmallows. This is a sheer lavender gray. The closest color comparison for Extra Marshmallows is definitely going to be Sculpture Wing. I would say the best way to describe it is it's like a icing is the best part version of Sculpture Wing. But I wanted to bring in some of our lavender friends. We have a fair amount of lavenders now, but a lot of our sheer lavenders are on the like pink side. And I think what sets Extra Marshmallows apart is it is definitely cool toned. It has a lot of that little gray in it, which is so pretty. So I pulled first to start all of our lavender besties and some of our sheer besties. But yes, I would say the icing is the best part treatment for Sculpture Wing would be how I would describe Extra Marshmallows. Again, going to be such a great neutral on its own. now we're in focus. So extra marshmallows. I'm gonna bring Sculpture Wing up next to it first, just to show you that they're quite similar in tone. Of course, when you make it milky and sheer, it gets a little bit kind of whiter, but it's really the essence of that like lavender gray that Sculpture Wing has. It's not quite as pink as Passion Fruit Gloss or Lavender Scents. It's also not as purple, but you can definitely see the purple in that formula when you compare it next to Icing is the Best Part, which almost looks kind of blue because it's so milky. My favorite, TT, again, looks way more purple. You can see the gray in there. Strawberry Scone. True Pink. And then what I thought was interesting about LHG is LHG to me has a little bit of gray in it, but it's way more white and not nearly as purple. There's a little bit of like secret warmth in LHG that I always see, but looks almost like an off-white when you get it in this lineup. Another similar one is the Usual, but not as lavender. One of my appliances is singing. I don't know which one. Sometimes it like learns a new song. Okay, and then just for the sake of comparison, Dreamy is very pinky purple. So I'm gonna take LHG out because it's not super close. I'm also going to take out these more purpley shades. So here we have Extra Marshmallows, Sculpture Wing, Icing is the Best Part, Strawberry Scone, and then the Usual. This is such a dreamy palette, just like this too, oh my goodness. Okay, well everyone is gonna want their hot cocoa with extra marshmallows. Okay. I wonder, oh my gosh, I only have 2 left. What is this? I just remember doing the quick dry one when there was 12. I feel like this is going by so much faster. Okay, Real Toasty. Real Toasty is, as the name would suggest, a toasted warm beige. And we have a lot of beigey shades, a lot of neutral beiges in our world. So I wanted to pull those, but everyone is always on the hunt for their perfect neutral. And when it comes to neutrals, the specificity of the undertone cannot be overstated. So I'm pulling some of our beige shades here. Real Toasty to me is like a less dark version of Howdy. It's like Howdy with a bit more white in it, but it is really a toasted kind of brown beige as opposed to Coffee Milk, which has a lot of yellow in it, KAG, which has some like peachy pink in it, and then It's Chilly is a lot more white. Chemistry also picks up a little bit of kind of green as well. Cable Net is way more peach, and then Line Dancing Boots is less toasted with a little bit more white in it as well. So for this, I'm gonna bring all these friends up just so we can see them all. But we love when our collections have, we love for all of our collections to always have a neutral in them. And as the temps get chillier, who doesn't want to just feel a little bit toasty? Okay. So you can see coffee milk looks very, very yellow. Chemistry also picks up a little bit of yellow green. MM and its chili, MM and KAG pick up a little bit more kind of pink, but it really is in this kind of more toasted beige universe. So we'll pull out KAG and its chili. I'm gonna pull out coffee milk, it's kind of on the yellow side. Such a pretty neutral. Probably, yeah, I'll bring out these three because these are the kind of three closest. More toasty than cable knit, less saturated than Howdy. Real toasty. Okay, and last but certainly not least, although I feel like this name is quite appropriate, I guess this should be Après Swatch Show. Après Mani. This is a deep teal color. We kind of liked the cozy après ski vibe for this. Since it's getting chilly, maybe in some parts of the world you're going for some skiing, but we did not have a teal like this in Long Lasting. A lot of y'all are obsessed with Bodysuit, which is a quick dry color, and shades like Into the Trees and even Make a Res kind of pick up a little bit of teal. But I wanted to pull kind of some navies with like Suited and Power Suit, and then also compare it to Besties, which has a fair amount more green in it. Okay, so let's get up close and personal with Après Mani. Power Suit is a navy jelly. Suited is a deep navy. Make a Res has that kind of crelly formula. So it's not like as opaque as Suited. Into the Trees is a dark green, but it has a lot of blue in it. And then when you come to Après Mani and Bodysuit, Après Mani is not exactly the same as Bodysuit. To me, Après Mani is a little bit lighter, and then Besties gets a little crazy. It's like an emerald green. But I wanted to bring all of these because I think that Après Mani really does pick up on whatever shade it's next to. So when it's next to Into the Trees, I think it picks up a lot of those green notes. And then when I think you get it next to something like Suited, it plays more like a blue. But finally, there was someone in the All of You Club. If you're watching this, please say hi. And Karina and I were talking about it on text the other day. But there were some folks in the All of You Club that were so excited for a deep teal like bodysuit. So it was serendipitous that we created Après Mani for you. So to me, it's like the close, yeah, definitely the closest to bodysuit. It's a little bit brighter to me, not quite as dusty, but absolutely stunning. All right, my friends, that concludes this first episode of the Swatch Show bonus fall. We hope that you loved it. I actually, while we're here, I want to actually try. This is what happens on the Swatch Show, y'all. We just go a little bit rogue. I remember I was talking about a cinnamon sugar kind of micro tip. This is CN Gel, which is one of the gel shades that are launching in this collection, but I wanted to kind of show you what I was thinking with this. And this is so easy to do, especially if you're not feeling super confident with nail art, is you take your brush and you take almost everything off the brush. And I just really run the polish along the tip of my nail like that. It's almost like you're capping your nails with cinnamon sugar. Oh my gosh, you're dusting your manicure in cinnamon sugar. I think this is the coolest look ever. And you really don't have to get it perfect. A glitter French tip is such a hack for nail art because glitter, when anything has a little bit of razzle dazzle, people can't see that it's not perfect and they don't care because they're distracted by the gorgeousness of the shimmer. And just a little bit of something. You could make it thicker, of course, if you wanted to, but love a little bit of subtle nail art. And if you do this over gel, it's even easier because if you decide you don't like it anymore, you can just dip your nails in the remover pot and it comes right off without disturbing your nails underneath. But this would be really pretty with Let's Stay In. I mean, it would look great as a French tip on any of the colors in this collection, let's be real. I'm doing this just freehand, but this would be super easy to do with the silicone stamper side of Penny. And depending on how much of an impact you want it to make, you could thicken up the tip a little bit. Just a little bit of something. It's like your nails get a little bit of gold jewelry too. Anyways, that was fun. If you made it this far, let me know. All of y'all, we'll see you on the next one. And happy bonus fall. Were you surprised? Okay. All of you. Bye.